Hey there, it's Action Jackson. I am so freaking excited today because today I get to bring to you an interview with my client, David. Now, David is truly unique in terms of my success stories. Reason being is that he's a college student. He's somebody who did not have a lot of money for buying fancy organic food. He was eating dorm food, in fact. He wasn't going to give up drinking, and he was able to cut his body fat from mid 20s down to 15% while working out less than 4 hours per week without giving up alcohol and without counting calories, counting macros, or doing any of the traditional stuff that you would think of. So his story is very unique in that sense. Now, like a lot of my other clients, David did experience a pretty dramatic mental transformation during this process. His confidence improved, he had more pride, he felt more purpose in his life, he transformed mentally dramatically. He even said friends think he's a different person than he used to be, a much better person, in fact. So he did experience that amazing mental transformation that a lot of my clients do experience. But again, he's a college student, and he went from being a C college student, somebody who thought C's get degrees, who was just scraping by, who's doing the bare minimum to get by through classes, to finding more purpose in his life, to working much harder, to dramatically improving his GPA. So think about it. Think about he entered what he thought was a workout program, and he ended up completely transforming his mind, getting better grades, finding more purpose in his life, and really being a much happier guy with a much more fulfilling life. In this interview, David's going to get into the myth of perfection and why you do not need to wait for things to be perfect in order to get started. In fact, he's going to talk about why waiting is the worst thing you can do, and taking action is going to really help you get clarity on things and help you get results so you can then build momentum. He's also going to talk about how we're able to use principles and change his mindset up in order to change his nutrition completely. He went from eating burgers and pizza to eating really healthy food like chicken, broccoli, like quality carbs, all this healthy food. And he was able to do that without doing any specific type of macro tracking or calorie counting or anything, through principled eating, changing up his mindset. And we're going to talk about that in this interview. So there's a lot of really great golden nuggets here. There's a lot you could take away. All right, I'll shut up and stop talking. Here we go. Here's my interview with David. All right, it's Action Jackson. I want to welcome David to the program. David just finished my program. I want to start by talking about his results really quick. And this is in his own words. This is the results as he mentioned them on Facebook in our group. He started by saying, I've lost a significant amount of body fat and put on pounds of muscle. I feel as lean as ever, and I'm happy with how I look at this point. I think the positivity primer and stretching have improved my posture significantly as well. Mentally, I feel like a different person, which is awesome. I feel more focused, have a completely different mentality than I used to. I think my mental transformation has been the most dramatic and most important one. I also feel more confident now too. My biggest insight is that everything doesn't have to be perfect. I used to think that everything had to be carefully calculated and managed, but now I find that it's possible to have a flexible, enjoyable lifestyle and still make progress. Amazing. So, pretty amazing transformation, David. That sounds incredible. We start there, but now let's pull it back and let's move back and say, where were you at before you started this program? Where were you at physically, and then where were you at mentally and emotionally?
Physically, I feel like I was probably somewhere around 25-ish% body fat.
Okay.
And I'd been working out mainly doing splits and kind of straight sets. And then now I would say I'm close to around, 15% or below body fat.
Nice.
And then mentally, I feel like I was kind of going through the motions, and like I'm a college student right now. And in the last semester, I was kind of doing almost what I'd say is the bare minimum, and not necessarily knowing why I'm doing it, or I guess what my reasoning was for kind of being there and working, and both academically and in the gym.
Sure.
And then I would say what this has given me is more mainly I think my life changed because of habits. Like the positivity primer is a big thing, and stretching every morning and supplementing, just kind of taking care of my body. Um, but it's definitely changed the way I think and kind of the way I prioritize things and what my schedule is like.
Very cool, very cool. So you were in the mid 20s in terms of your body fat. You were
Hmm.
doing split routines, your typical, what, traditional bodybuilding stuff. Where'd you get
Yep.
those workouts from?
I did some of like Mike Matthews, I
Hmm.
think Bigger, Leaner, Stronger. And then
Yep.
I had also tried a Kino Body program before. Um, and yeah,
Why didn't it work for you anymore? Or like what got you to the point where you were in the mid 20s and now you need another change? Like what happened?
I think part of it was uh, coming to college last year. I mean, there were parts of the year I ate pretty well, but eating dorm food is pretty tough. It's pizza, burgers, um, not the healthiest of foods.
Of course.
So I think, yeah, after that, I just realized I wanted to change something up. I think I was supposedly around 30% last January,
Hmm.
which was hard to believe because it's, I don't know. It might have been around 30%, but yeah, I was definitely heavier. And it's kind of the rationalization I was giving myself was like, oh, I'm just like bulking up or whatever, which is easy to say. You just eat garbage food and lift weights, and like that's what it is.
Of course. Every guy you meet at the gym's always in the bulking phase, right?
Yeah,
Like, how's it going, man? I'm bulking. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
exactly.
It's funny how we rationalize those things to ourselves. Before we
Hmm.
get back into the mindset and all that kind of stuff, let's touch on the food again for a second here. You said that you were eating terrible dorm food and your body fat was just going up. You were lifting, but your body fat was just going up and up and up. So, what changed with the food? Like, how are you able to suddenly make better food decisions, or where are you getting your food from now?
So I think I'm getting my food from the same place. It's mainly dorm food. And I think how I was able to make better decisions was partially from like the mindset exercises or the code we talked about,
Yep, the
which I
superpower
think
code.
the biggest idea that I tried to follow was the $1 million machine, and especially during phase one, I think I dropped like close to 10 pounds just by eating. It was the insulin reset, so pretty much all I was eating in the dorm was like chicken and broccoli, like pretty much no exceptions. Um, and then on the weekend, like on Saturday, I'd try to give myself a little bit, like take, I guess a little bit off. And of course, in college, there's a significant amount of drinking, so I tried to not avoid that. But no, yeah, I mean, it was, I think, mainly just telling myself that I didn't need that garbage food, or just kind of, at least yet during the week and most of the weekend, I wasn't going to be putting kind of, that garbage fuel in my body.
Very cool. So you were able to, by changing your mindset and thinking more about your body as like $1 million machine, this performance machine, you were able to completely transform the way you ate during the week, eating super healthy, more like fuel. And then
Hmm.
you gave yourself some exceptions on the weekends with alcohol and with some more cheaty food so you can enjoy your life and still be a college,
Yep.
right?
Exactly. Yep.
Very cool. So let's go back to the confidence and the mindset. You said you were at a point in your life where you're just sort of going through the motions. You didn't know what you were doing or kind of why you were doing it, and now things have changed mostly because of like habits and the positivity primer stuff. So
Hmm.
where were you at before? Like you were just going through the motions, and like how did you get to that point? And then what's so different now? Let's just kind of talk
Yeah.
about
I guess so. After I'm a sophomore in college right now. My first semester in college, for some reason, I came in with the mindset of C's get degrees. Um, so I kind of just took it easy, didn't work that hard, um, and was at the end, like I realized, your GPA kind of does matter and whatnot. And then so that next semester I worked harder, but I still kind of felt like I didn't know why. I was just taking classes, kind of enjoying them, kind of not. Um, and then just, yeah, trying to do, I guess, what I felt like was going to be best for me, which is study. And, um, but then now I feel like with, yeah, kind of the primer and then more journaling every day and kind of taking more time to reflect, on things that are going on in my life, I feel like I have more of a sense of purpose and, um, realize, yeah, why I want to be, kind of working hard or picking classes, stuff like that throughout college.
Wow. So with a workout program where we changed up your habits a little bit in the morning, got you to do some more positive, like positive override stuff for your mind, a little journaling. Now
Hmm.
all of a sudden you have completely shifted your mindset in terms of knowing what you want to do, living with more purpose, being
Hmm.
happier.
Yep,
That's
totally.
amazing.
Yeah, I think one of the, also biggest things that you introduced me to that's changed my life has been the 5 second rule.
Oh,
I
I
just
love the five
started.
second rule.
Yeah, it's awesome. I just started reading the book, and it's like when you first hear about it, it sounds kind of gimmicky or something, but it really
Yeah.
is. Whether it's for me, it's been getting out of bed or just turning the water to cold during the shower to be, yeah, freezing for a minute or so. Just getting things done pretty much.
Oh, so cool. Yeah, the 5 second rule sounds kind of gimmicky. It sounds like, oh, that's stupid, whatever. It's kind of
Hmm.
dumb. But then when you try it and you use it, you're like, oh my God, this kind of works. It's one of those
Hmm.
things that you like do internally, but you don't want to tell anybody about.
Yeah, exactly. It's true.
Very cool. Very cool. So
Hmm.
the transformation is obviously amazing. So we have now you more confident. You are in better shape. You've lost significant amounts of body fat. You have on lean muscle mass. Um, in terms of your like biggest insight throughout going through this program? I talked about it a little bit when we first started, but in your words, what's been your biggest insight going through this program?
Um, yeah, I guess I think when I wrote, on the Facebook post, I said, yeah, that kind of not everything has to be perfect.
Hmm.
And that
A
was
lot of people
something I,
get stuck in that. They think I need the perfect program. It's got to be the perfect time. Like everything's got to be, all the ducks have to be aligned before I
hmm.
can start.
Yep.
So you're saying everything doesn't have to be perfect. Now continue. Go ahead. Go ahead with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's like a, almost mindset you get into, like, oh, I want to have, yeah, the perfect this and that before I even get started.
Uh-huh.
Whereas just doing anything is better than doing nothing at all. I think that was something that I mean, I kind of figured, I guess, to have like, I don't know, lower your body fat or whatever, you kind of had to be like, yeah, just preparing your meals and not going out, and uh, your life had to revolve around the gym. And I realized that's just not the truth. That's, yeah, I guess it's, sometimes we make things harder than they should be or have to be. Yep.
Absolutely. Do you think that those were just excuses you were telling yourself to, I guess, justify your current position? Or do you think those were real mental barriers that you really thought, I have to spend endless hours in the gym, I have to eat perfect?
I think um, it was probably, I guess, almost I wanted to make it seem more difficult than it was, so that I like didn't have to do anything. I'm not sure if that, that makes sense, but it's almost like if you make some task seem so daunting that you're never going to be able to do it, like why even try, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, and it just allowed me to, by not trying to reach a goal, it just kind of allowed me to just, I don't know, keep eating bad and lifting weights sometimes and whatnot.
sure. How many hours were you spending in the gym on like a weekly basis during the program?
Probably less, I want to say less than 4 hours a week,
Less than 4 hours a week. Amazing.
around 4 hours a week. Yeah.
So you're able to cut your
Hmm.
body fat from somewhere in the mid 20s down to somewhere around 15 in the
Yep.
span of 12 weeks, and you did that in less than 4 hours per week.
Hmm.
Amazing.
Yep.
So, if there's somebody out there and they're watching this video and they're in a position like you're in, maybe they're a college student, for example,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, I'm eating poor. I don't really know what to do. This seems overwhelming and tough. And they're kind of on the fence about maybe joining this program, for example, or getting started with just any program, like doing anything. What would your advice be to them?
Um, hmm. let's see. Probably just, well, yeah, if they're considering doing this program, I'd definitely say you won't regret it. I can guarantee that.
Why won't they
The
regret this program?
I mean, you're a different person coming out of it. I honestly, it's weird to think that that was me just whatever 12 weeks it was ago. I'm not the same person, and I think people around me could tell you that.
Really? How
Um,
are people treating you differently?
I think people can tell that. Uh, I think it's mainly about discipline. I mean, I think my GPA's increased a ton, and I partially or significantly attribute it to this. And then mainly just kind of the habits and the lifestyle. I really do think that's just just as valuable, if not more, than all the training and nutrition and stuff like that. It's more just about like lifestyle and how you can change things.
That's unbelievable. Amazing, amazing stuff. Like, you're honestly making me emotional talking about this right now because I mean, my goal, my dream is to help people just like you. And when I switched jobs and switched from corporate to doing this, I mean, it was an absolute nightmare for a number of years. And now to sit here and to hear you tell me that you've completely changed your life, your GPA is up, your confidence is up, people are treating you differently, you've lost a ton of body fat, you put on a bunch of muscle, you're only working out less than 4 hours per week, and that you're able to enjoy your life and have like a flexible lifestyle. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
mind blowing for me.
Yeah, I couldn't have expected it coming in. Honestly, it's blowing my mind too.
So cool, man. This is awesome. Thank you so much for joining the program, for working with me, taking a chance on me. And honestly, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. It
Of
means a
course.
lot to me. It really does that you would take your time and do this with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, David.
Glad I could help out.
Holy cow, my mind is absolutely blown. That was an amazing, inspirational interview with my client David, and I'm so excited. I'm so happy for him, and I'm so proud of the transformation that he was able to make and the impact I was able to have on his life. It's incredible, and I feel so blessed to work with such amazing people. Now, I'm curious, what are your insights from the interview? What did you learn? What were some breakthroughs that you had? What were some insights and some reflections you had on your own behavior while listening to David? I would love to hear what those are. Here's a few things that I learned during this interview and a few takeaways that I had. Number one was the myth of perfection. Things don't always have to be perfect, nor will they ever really be perfect. But the key is getting started. And by getting started, you're going to gain clarity, you're going to start to get momentum, and you're going to start to figure it out along the way. But getting started is the absolute key. And I think David really emphasized that point well and showed that that is the case, at least for him and many others. The other thing that I took away from this interview was how we can make things more complex in our minds and in our heads in order to justify our current situation or our current behaviors. He said, as far as like nutrition, for example, he would always overcomplicate things in his mind and make it seem like it was just so hard, like it was this algorithm analysis calculus equation that couldn't be figured out, at least without any relative amount of ease. And he did that in order to make himself feel better about eating pizza and burgers and crappy dorm food. And through changing some simple principles and some mindset stuff, not complex, right? Not complex. Not easy, but not complex. He was able to dramatically shift the way he eats. And he says it's much simpler than he thought it was. And the same thing for the workouts. Thought he needed to spend forever in the gym. Didn't need to do that either. Because when you focus on getting really good at simple, principled tasks, foundational things like eating quality foods or doing the right type of workouts, you'll notice you can get dramatic results without overly complex, all kinds of crazy systems and this and that and the other thing. Another takeaway I had was the power of habits and how through some simple morning routines, some morning habits, he was able to dramatically shift his mindset, his thinking, his negative thinking, and override all of that, not only to take more action, but to be happier, more fulfilled, live with more purpose, and lots of other amazing, great things. So the power of habits, so important, and I think he emphasized that well. And I think the last thing that you can take away from this interview, and that I took away from this interview, was just how important a physical ritual of exercise and how important taking care of your body really is, and the dramatic impact that pushing yourself physically, by challenging yourself physically, pushing your limits physically, pushing yourself in the gym, eating healthy, nutritious foods, fueling your body, the impact that that can have on your mind, on your happiness, on your ability to honestly live a very rich and fulfilling and amazing life. And you saw it with him. He went from being a C's get degrees kind of student to raising his GPA, getting much better grades, working much harder, and living with more purpose. I mean, incredible, the power of exercise, the power of a healthy diet, and what it can have, the effect it can have on your mind and on the rest of your life. It's this ripple effect. And it's why I always say it's like better abs equal a better life. And I've seen it time and time again. My clients go through these transformations, wanting to get six-pack abs, wanting to get big arms, or get ripped bodies. And through the transformation, the physical transformation, they find that it's the mental transformation that's the absolute most critical thing, and it's the most dramatic shift in their life, and it causes them to increase their work ethic, to become much happier, more fulfilled, more purposeful human beings. And it's really, really incredible to watch, and I just feel so lucky to play a part in that kind of transformation. So I hope you kind of understand just how powerful diet and exercise can be, and how it can shift your life for the better and improve your life for the better, not just physically, not just the way you look, but your confidence, your pride, your level of purpose, your level of satisfaction, your level of fulfillment and happiness, and just all the areas of life it can really impact. So I hope you took that away. I know I did. So thank you, David. Thank you for transforming. Thank you for all your hard work. I'm very proud of you, and I hope you got a lot from this interview. I'm Action Jackson. I'll see you later.